Good evening, world. I know we said we weren't going to be back today because I had my NFL draft fantasy football, but I was wrong. It's next week. But we're not doing the RNC because Cedric's going to kind of touch on the sports world reaction to the Jacob Blake situation. And so we want to hit that today.
I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian.
All right, everybody. Brian and I were actually going to take a day off today, but it seems like the sporting world won't let us. And there's some things going on with the whole Jacob Blake situation. If you guys have been watching our videos, and pretty much anybody else's videos, this has been the hot topic lately about the man who was I'll use air quotes, the gentleman who was erroneously shot by the policeman because he refused to comply and do what he was told to do, and he was shot. Now it seems the whole sporting world is using this as a brand of arms, a coat of arms to stand up. The Detroit Lions football team, they've canceled their practice today because of what happened. A few Major League Baseball teams, the Reds and the Brewers, aren't going to play. But where it's most prevalent is on that court in Orlando, in the bubble they call it, where the NBA is playing all their playoff games. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 NBA games tonight, but they've all canceled tonight to stand in solidarity of this black man who was killed. Now,
He wasn't even killed. He's not killed.
He wasn't killed. I keep saying that. I'm sorry. But, and here's the thing. It's sad that someone was shot. But the thing that me and Brian kept saying over and over again is that this could have been avoided had he simply complied and done what he was supposed to do. And what really irritates me when you have someone who has a voice as big as Lebron James and he gets on national TV and he...
Well, let's watch it.
Let's go to the clips.
So this clip cuts off the beginning. At the beginning, before I got this part of the clip, he says, why didn't the police tackle him or do something like that? Well, we know now they did tackle him. They tried to subdue him before he walked
They
around.
tased him.
So let's go with LeBron here.
Quite frankly, it's just up in our community. And I know people get tired of hearing me say it, but we are scared as black people in America.
Can you pause that?
Yeah.
Black men.
I'm sorry. I am getting sick of LeBron James and Oprah Winfrey and Barack Obama thinking they were nominated to be the official ambassadors and the official spokespeople for black people. I am not scared of the police. Maybe that's just me. If there's any other black people out there who are scared of the police, let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'll tell you what, when I'm in a crowd, if I'm in an area and I see police officers, there is a sense of comfort. There's a sense of security. I have never been scared of a police officer. I've been afraid of teachers. I've been afraid of my parents when I've done something wrong. Mm-hmm. And when authority comes wrong and I've done something wrong, that's when I get a little nervous, a little apprehensive. But other than that, I have never been afraid of a cop a day in my life. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of police officers who are friends, and they are just as fed up about this crap as we are.
For somebody who's 6'9", 280 pounds, whatever he is, to say that he's scared.
He's not scared.
He lives in a bubble. He's a millionaire, multimillionaire. And by saying this stuff, he's actually scaring people. So anyways, let's go on.
Women, black kids, we are terrified. Because you don't know. You have no idea. You have no idea how that cop that day left the house. You don't know if he walked on the good side of the bed. You don't know if he walked up on the wrong side of the bed.
If you pause it, I try to pause it. It's going to be a long video.
Wait.
Home with a significant other. You know, if one of his kids said something crazy to him and he left the house steaming.
Pause it.
That could be for anybody.
He's absolutely right. We don't know how that cop left home that day. He could have had a spat with his wife, until a spat with his kids. Wait a minute. I wonder how Jacob Blake left the home that morning.
Oh, you mean with the warrant?
The warrant for his arrest?
Yeah.
And maybe he wanted to mess around with a 15-year-old girl?
Yeah, and he had passed, on the warrant was passed gun charge. And this is what the cops do know?
Right. So, yeah, the cops, they're not perfect. We know that. And, yeah, when we talk about them needing more training, yeah, that's true. How about we train ourselves as people and train ourselves as citizens to do the frickin' right thing and stop causing these cops to... These cops didn't want to do that. You can see that in the video. They didn't want to do this.
Oh, I know.
But he left them no choice. And like I said in our last video, if I get pushed that situation, I'm a cop, one of us is going home. Chances are it's going to be me.
Yeah, well, they keep making the point that, why didn't they subdue him? They tried to subdue him.
I think they need to take all these NBA players, NFL players, Major League Baseball players, and put them through training. And like, so when you're sitting there and you tell someone to stop what you're doing, and they ignore you, and they walk into the car, what do you do then? You take the chance of getting shot and say, oh, well, at least I tried to subdue them. At least I tried to tackle them. That's not real life.
And this is where the numbers don't add up. And this is where this is so political. I can't speak to his heart, and we're going to be with Doc Rivers a little later. I can't speak to their heart. But when they say that they're scared, Jacob Blake did not do the right thing. If he would have done the right thing, this never would have happened. You teach everybody to do the right thing. It doesn't matter what color you are.
Do the right thing.
Yeah. If a police officer, especially if there's guns on you, man. I mean, come on. I would have been down on the ground with my hands behind my head if I saw 3 guns on me. I mean, so anyway. Let's finish it.
Or maybe he just left the house saying that today is going to be the end for one of these black people.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
What do you feel like you?
So we got more athletes, but
No, I don't want to see anymore.
yeah, no, I don't want to play the athletes.
To be still at this day the biggest name in the NBA, and you touched on something before we started filming, Brian, and you'll probably touch on it later. There's got to be some type of money behind this. There's some hidden agenda. It's getting to the point where we're crying wolf, and I say we, I say black people. The BLM movement, the Antifa movement, we've been crying wolf so much, it's starting to lose its power.
Yeah, because what happens when a real injustice happens?
Right.
What happens? The little boy or little girl that was shot in the car by a protester, nothing. You didn't hear anything from athletes. This was an actual innocent kid driving through an area. It happened to be where Rashad Brooks got killed. Before we get to the last clip, I bring up the straw man, and I know, and here's what straw man means. I'm going to bring it up on the screen right here. This may not be a perfect straw man, but it's in the heart of what I'm saying. They're creating a situation that they can tear down or that they can talk against. That's not the real situation. This wasn't an innocent person. This was not an innocent person. This is somebody that all they had to do was when the police showed up, handled it at the station after he went down for his warrant. So they're creating this straw man in the fact that they keep saying on there, these innocent black people are being hunted down by police officers. That is not a true statement.
I have never walked outside my door and felt hunted.
And I'm sure LeBron James never has. Has he been pulled over wrongfully, maybe? Has he been out? Maybe he got frisked because he was in a group? Sure, I think that does happen, and I think that should be dealt with. But I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, let's say the cops go up and they're in an inner city area and they go up to a group of black guys and they start hassling them for no reason. Do you think it's because they're black, or do you think it's because they're in an area where there's a lot of crime?
Option 2.
So that's what I feel. Now, as a white person, I don't know, but I don't think it doesn't happen where we live.
And you're my buddy and stuff. That statement you just made right there, and you touched on this a few videos ago. That's what BLM and Antifa want you to think, that as a white man, you have no right to speak on it, and you do, because doing the right thing is not a color thing. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a character thing.
Right.
If you don't have character, it doesn't matter what color you are.
Because I don't think the cops are going around in our city, the cigar shop, black-owned, black-patroned. I've never heard of cops going up there and just hassling them, because this is not a crime area. But if you're in a crime area, if you're in a Latino crime area, let's say you're in an area that's high drug trafficking and it happens to be Latinos instead of black, I bet you they hassle 20-year-old, 15 to 20-year-old Latino men more than they do the general population in that area.
Right.
Why? Because they're Latino? No, because there's a Latino drug problem in that area. That would be my guess. Again, I know I'm not supposed to speak because I'm not the right color, but I'm just going to I'm giving my 2 cents. And so,
someone's going to pull this out on me. I know they are, because I get this every time we talk on this subject, is that I feel not happy, but like overjoyed that a man. No. A life was taken, and I keep saying his life was taken. A man was hurt. Mm-hmm. A man was hurt. But here's the thing: I'm talking about personal accountability and being responsible. And back to the word that I kept using over and over again 2 videos ago: comply. And someone left me a comment. I didn't respond to it. Left me a comment about that as citizens, we don't have to comply. I thought, you know what? Okay, fine. I used to tell
Then what do we have police for?
right. And I tell people that all the time. That I talk to some lady friends of mine. They like to lean on their horn and flip someone the bird when they get cut off. And I said, you need to stop doing that because, like LeBron said in that video, you know what type of day someone's having.
Right.
And if they take out a bat, take out a gun, and blow your windshield out, what are you going to do? He cut me off, and I was right. Do you want to be right, or do you want someone to blow your freaking head off?
Or live in a civil society.
Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right.
Right.
And he cut you off. What are you going to do about it?
But again, that's not even the case we're talking about. This was a guy who was not in the
He wasn't even right.
He has a warrant out for his arrest. The cops told him not to move. He wouldn't stop. They tried to tase him. They tackled him. He broke away from them and then went into his car. So this is Doc Rivers at the playoffs.
All you hear is Donald Trump and all of them talking about fear. We're the ones getting killed. We're the ones getting shot. We're the ones that...
Okay, I got to stop that just for a second because unarmed people getting shot last year, 2019...
It was like 9 to 15.
It was more white people than black people. And I know that we're a lot more in the population. But when he's just using that blatant statement saying, we're the ones getting shot. Okay, so 15 in a whole year, and most of those were justified, kind of like this is going to be proven to be justified. Yet he's making it sound like
it's
we're
hundreds and thousands.
Like we're living in a place where there's snipers picking off people.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the numbers, don't trust us because I know some of you are going to have some stupid ass comment to make. It's the numbers like low 9, high 15.
Yeah,
of unarmed. I think it was black men that were shot.
And white was 19 to 29 or something like that.
And like,
but that's the terms that they throw out. And this is causing more division because they're using this platform for a false narrative. So.
To live in certain communities, we've been hung, we've been shot.
Stop that real quick.
Yeah, when was the
last time I checked? He lives in a gated community somewhere in South Florida. And to say that we're not allowed to live in certain communities. What the hell do you know about that, Doc Rivers?
And how come he uses this hyperbole of we've been hung? When was the last time a person has been hung? And I thought we were talking about, police brutality. When was the last time a police officer? Yeah. I mean, and so he's bringing up something to tear at people's emotions by bringing up something that happened 50 to 100 years ago.
Well, and I've had some people tell me like, we are still suffering from the scars and the injustice that we had to suffer. And I'm not downplaying that. It was terrible. But I don't know anything about slavery. My dad barely knows enough about slavery. That is a generation ago. And we can't keep using that as an excuse as to why we can't get ahead. We can't keep going back like, well, the scars that have been done to us emotionally and spiritually and mentally, that's keeping us from getting ahead. And you know what? You've made that choice.
Yeah. Let's go on.
And all you do is keep hearing about fear. It's amazing to me why we keep loving this country and this country does not love us back.
Stop pausing. Oh my God. So we keep loving this country. Is that what BLM is all about? Is that why they're setting fire to stuff? Is that why they're throwing rocks through windows? Is that why they're stealing and pillaging and doing all that stuff? That's love? It was a rhetorical question, I know. I'm just angry. Is that what Antifa's all about? Because this country loves us just like it loves everybody else. If you're willing to come here, like we talked about last night about the RNC, those 5 individuals that were granted American citizenship, if you come over here and do what you're freaking supposed to do and be a good citizen and abide by the laws of the land, which are put here not just for white people, not just for Hispanic people, but for all people, if you abide by that, this country will love you back. They love Barack. They love Oprah.
Oh my gosh.
They love LeBron. It's almost at the point of idol worship.
Yeah, and for Doc to say that when Barack Obama was president, you never saw so much gushing love for a president in my lifetime. Clinton was the closest back in the day, but I mean, come on. I mean, and then contrast that with Trump.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, I know you wanted me to...
Let's go with the crocodile tears some more.
It's really so sad. I didn't want to talk about it before the game because it's so hard. Like, just keep watching it. That video, if you watch that video, you don't need to be black to be outraged.
Yeah, I feel bad for the cops.
You need to be American and outraged. And how dare the Republicans talk about fear?
Pause.
Yeah, so this is a political statement. This is politics.
When did that come? When did they talk about? I mean, we heard Melania talk last night about faith. Last time I checked, faith and fear can't reside in the same body. They talked about faith and family and things like that. No one's talking about fear. Matter of fact, the Republicans are trying to downplay the fear of COVID, downplay the fear of police. They're trying to downplay it.
I know, and that's when. So that just triggered me there. It's like it brings me into my conspiratorial brain when this stuff starts to happen, because he mentions Trump right at the beginning of it. Then he mentioned Republicans, and guess what we have coming up in November? So, and like you called him crocodile tears. I don't know his heart. Maybe that was really heartfelt about this criminal who tried to escape the police and reach inside of his car. I don't know. Maybe those are real tears. But then he has to bring politics in it. Why? Why does he bring politics in it?
But I'm asking you a question. I have to do my research because I don't know, and maybe you can help there. When did the Republican Party ever talk about fear?
I don't know. I don't know. All the fear I saw was during the DNC.
Yeah.
They were trying to scare everybody about to stay. In fact, even Biden said, I'm going to make everybody stay back in their house. I'm going to make everybody wear masks.
Yeah, we got a virus that 99% of the people are surviving it.
Yeah.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
And we're only bringing up politics because Doc Rivers just brought up He's bringing politics into this which, he's crying for a very personal thing, but then he brings politics in. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know.
I knew I shouldn't have came over here.
I know.
I need a drink.
They need to be scared. We're the ones having to talk to every black child.
Okay, I got to stop here. Just because more separatist nonsense. Everybody talks to their child about respecting authority. Black, white, brown, purple, green, I don't care. And I'm sorry, but for the black community to always monopolize this, like they're the only ones who have to.
That's our problem.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's the cross we have to bear.
And obviously, this Jacob Blake kid did not get the talk. So he probably lived in one of those households where 75% don't have the father in the house, right? So that talk is not by race. The talk is for everybody. In America, we're individuals. Our government was founded on the individual. So individuals get the talk, not black boys. Individuals get the talk.
Respect authority.
Yeah, it's not, I'm sorry, it just drives me crazy when they turn it into a racial thing that you have to have the talk. No, if I went and reached for something in my car and fought off two cops,
you deserve a bullet in your ass.
Yeah,
you asked for that.
Especially if they woke up, maybe their spouse said something to them and put them on edge, like LeBron said. I mean, come on.
And that's the problem, like you said. It isn't systemic racism in the black community. It's that fact that 75% of the homes are without a father. And there's too many pandering of these men. There's not enough testosterone going through. And so they're babied by mom and by aunts and by grandmas. And then they're coddled. And you know what? Oh my gosh, I'm off track here, but I got a letter sent home when I was in elementary school by the teacher, took it home to my dad, and I tried to use some punk excuse like how my friends were making me talk, and my dad cut me off. He goes, they don't live in this house. You live in this house. And the next thing he said to me, it was a threat, but it came across as a threat promise. He said, let one more note come to this house that you're disrespecting the teacher. Please let one more note come to this house. That was a threat. And not a single note came back to the house again.
Yeah. And that's when you learn how to respect authority. Obviously, this Jacob Blake, either he didn't get taught that or he didn't listen, because
probably didn't listen.
You don't do that. You don't do that to your father. You don't do that to a teacher when you're young. You don't do it to your pastor. And you definitely don't do it to 3 police officers holding guns on you. Let's get to the end of this. I know you can't stomach this, but...
What white father has to give his son a talk about being careful
just covered that.
if you
We
get
do.
pulled over? It's just ridiculous. And it just keeps going. There's no charges. Breonna Taylor, no charges, nothing.
Are we talking about Breonna Taylor now?
No.
All we're asking is you live up to the Constitution. That's all we're asking.
That is to be reciprocated.
Yes. So the Constitution and the founding of the United States only works with a civilized society. It has to be a respectful society. Otherwise, freedom does not work. Freedom will only work in a civil society. If we don't have a civil society, then you need a top-down government like a totalitarianism, a communism. That's when you don't have a civil society. And that's what we're leading towards.
Right.
If we just have a civil society, then yes, Doc, we live up to the Constitution.
Right.
But when you have thugs that do these types of things...
And let's be clear, thugs are black and white
Yes.
and Asian and Hispanic.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I know, because someone's going to call you out on that. It's like, oh, you call black people thugs. Well, that's what you thought.
It's all right. Barack Obama used the term thugs way back in the day,
Yeah.
and it's not a racial term. I hate to tell you.
This is weird. I mean, and we've talked about this because I haven't watched a game, and I have to be honest. There's been times when I've gone out with people and we've gone to a bar and I've walked through the bar and I've caught a glimpse of the game, and I'll be honest, I stopped and glanced up for a second. This turns my stomach. And yeah, the NBA is not going to fall apart because I'm not watching it. I cannot support this. If I go to a bar, I may just tell the guy, "Can you turn this off, please?" If he doesn't, fine.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's just like they are turning people away. And I wouldn't care if the NBA went belly up and went bankrupt.
Well, and then, like you said, the Matthew Stafford came out and gave a speech, a talk, and shut down practice because of this. It's unfortunate that this person got shot, yes, but we're making this thing huge. You're scaring more people. You're causing more riots. You're causing more deaths. I think there's already 1 or 2 deaths in Wisconsin now because of the protests.
They're making these guys like Jacob Blake, and I know we're not talking about him, but George Floyd, they're like these new modern day Martin Luther King Jr.'s.
Yeah, or they're martyrs.
Yeah,
They're
it's
martyrs,
like they're not even close. Like, I mean, I don't think Mother Teresa would get this much press if she was murdered.
No.
These guys they're saints. They're going to be nominated for sainthood in a year or two.
Yeah, and it, it's one thing when you just get the politicians that are pandering, but now it's bled over into something that we like to escape in: football, basketball, people who like baseball, hockey, soccer, whatever. It's bleeding into all of that, and now we can't even get away from it. We don't want to see this because we know that this is a false narrative. Anyway, you finish it.
I didn't. There's nothing more. Because a little passionate today, a little pissed off. If you guys saw this and you see a little anger, I feel bad that Jacob Blake was shot. I feel bad. But I'm also, what we're saying here, and I hope you got the message, that we're saying he should have taken responsibility. And for the NBA and Major League Baseball, NFL to jump on this and make it seem like this is an anomaly. It is not the norm. A black man being shot.
Well,
in a lot of the cases, it can be avoided.
It's an anomaly for the police to do that. Unfortunately, it's not an anomaly in the inner city, but it's not by the police.
Right. But
nobody wants to address that.
We're not going to address that.
That's what frustrates me.
Right.
It's like these politicians. Even One Lives Matter when it comes to COVID, but it's like, okay, how many thousands of lives are getting destroyed in these inner cities by gang violence and drugs? How about let's tackle the real issues?
No, they don't want to do that. You know what? Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. If you have any friends out there that's saying that all black guys feel hunted, share this video with them. I, for one, do not feel like I'm hunted. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave today and go find a cop and give him a hug. I just feel compelled to do that. Like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you're doing the best you can. You guys don't get paid a lot, and you got to pull up with this bull crap. Thank you for all you do. I don't know what to say. I guess we're just going to end it up here. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you later.